Greetings, I present to you the SMK, the Sentinel's Marvellous Kaleidoscope, on CFRU 93.3 FM in Guelph, Ontario, through the web on CFRU.ca, and syndicating across Canada. I am your guardian overseer, Nicholas Cooper. We will be looking inward and beyond along the branches of progressive, fusion, and alternative genres, a fluorescent anomaly, and other unique discoveries near and far. Join me as we gaze into the audible lens out of the diverse musical landscape on the ever-changing horizon.
No, because it takes like 3 seconds to actually record after I press it. Now we're rolling.
Self-destruct tendencies. I've seen you out on the town with your new friend. I keep on knocking myself down and you won't let it end. You've got me stuck in the mud and you're what I need to clear these thoughts from my head and set me free. I tore my own heart out and I blame it on you. All I've got's a photograph but it won't do, 'cause it's hard when your love is the enemy. I'm looking for my sweet serenity, and I'm dying down by my self-destructive tendencies. It's my volatile chemistry, and I'm dying down by my self-destructive tendency.
Welcome, my good sentries, to yet another grand audience far from the Observational Tower, where I'm doing these long-distance interviews as the CFRU can't have artists in the studio live at this time due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, this evening, I'm joined by two lovely fellows as part of a Guelph-based rock band called the Breaking English. Why don't we let them introduce themselves? Guys, introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I'm the drummer for the Breaking English.
My name is David, and I'm the bassist.
Hello, Matt and David.
Hello.
I'm glad to have you guys here for a chat about the band and other miscellaneous and important topics to talk about.
Having us, we're excited to be here.
I guess, why don't we start by talking about some of the general things about the band, because it's not just you two. There's, I believe, 3 other artists in the band. Why don't you say their names for us, or tell them what is their part in the band?
Sure. Yeah, there are 3 other members. We've got Josh, who plays guitar and does lead singing. We've got Natasha, who is a dedicated singer, and Juliana, who plays keys and sings as well.
Excellent. How did all of you meet and form this band of yours?
Yeah, that's a bit of a story. So Matt and I have been playing music together for about a decade.
Probably.
I want to say a long time, a very long time.
Yeah. Met each other in high school.
Yeah.
10 years ago now.
Yeah.
Tasha and I go back a little bit further than that even. Yeah, she was one of my neighbors on my street growing up. So I've known her since I was 7 and she was 10 or 9. And then ended up going to the same high school as her, where she fell in with David's gang of people. And then that's when I met David.
Yeah.
So we know each other going that far back, and David and I have been playing music with each other since then.
Jamming in the garage, and then we were in a couple like no-name jam bands that kind of went nowhere. And then I remember, I think we've told the story before, but I like telling it because I think it's cute. Of how we met Josh was Matt plays in another band based out of Guelph called Sled, and they were playing a show at the Red Papaya, I believe, and I was filling in on rhythm guitar for them. And Josh was opening as an acoustic singer-songwriter. And before the show, we were just sitting around grabbing beers, just hanging out, chit-chatting. And Josh was like, man, I'm really looking for like a bassist and a drummer. Like, I'd like to start a project with like a full band. And me and Matt had just ended those like no-name jam bands, and we wanted to start playing in a more serious band at the time. And so we were like, man, if only we knew someone who could play guitar and sing, that would be great. And we all kind of stared at each other and went like, do you want to jam? Do you want to start a band? And then that's just exactly it. Is we scheduled some jam sessions, and Josh showed us some tunes he wrote. And then Juliana came later.
Josh said he knew this fantastic piano player.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he introduced us to her. And
we realized we already knew her.
Yeah. Yeah, we had seen her play a few times around Guelph.
Yeah. And when he was like, yeah, I know this girl, she plays piano, she sings, and we can audition her, and we're like, yeah, sure, whatever, cool. And she shows up to back then. I mean, we're in a basement right now, but we were in a different basement back then. And she shows up, and we were all like, oh, "You're that girl! we know you're really good. Please don't say no."
Sang really well and played piano. And all the while, David was living with Natasha and her husband. So he was always around and doing some singing for us. And when we decided to start a band, she wanted to join in too.
Yeah, she started. I don't remember how long it took her, but I remember when she started, she explicitly told us that she just wanted to sing backup. She just wanted to be like a secondary vocalist to Josh and possibly Juliana. But I'd say pretty quickly. I don't actually know how long it took, but she pretty quickly just took the star power and is now one of our, with the other two of them, lead vocalists, front and center on stage, just giving it. So
yeah,
that's the very convoluted story of how we came to be.
That's wonderful knowing those connections. And all of you grew up in Guelph, correct?
No,
I don't think any of us.
Nope, none of us grew up in Guelph.
Oh, really?
Natasha, David, and I are all from Oakville.
Yeah.
David and I ended up going to university here, the University of Guelph, and we've kind of set down our roots here since. So is Tasha. I think Josh is from North Bay and came here for school. And Juliana, I believe, is from Calgary and again came all the way up to Guelph for university.
Tasha didn't even go to university here. It was her husband. I lived with him. He was one of my friends from high school as well. I think she went to the University of Waterloo.
Yeah.
So I didn't even see her much while I was in school. Like every once in a while, whenever she visited, but it wasn't until after that the two of them decided to choose Guelph as where to live that we really kicked off the band.
Yeah. Guelph has a very special quality to it to bring people together.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, especially the music scene there as well.
Yeah, it's it's very tight knit, and the networking is really easy to do and really valuable. It's so easy to find so many different artists just by popping into a local bar, and then you meet them and end up starting a band together. It's a real great community.
Yeah, and everyone's really friendly about it. There's not any local competition. No one's trying to outdo the other band. It's just if you meet someone from the scene and you're like, man, I'm looking for whatever musician, or I'd love to play a show with this kind of band. They'd be like, oh yeah, I know a guy, and then just give you all the details right there. Right? There's no gatekeeping in the Guelph music scene, which I think is great. And I think we've tried to take advantage of that as much as we could over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. So when exactly was the band formed? How long have you been going as a band?
We started playing together in September of 2018.
Because we won the 2018 Battle of the Bands. 2017 is when we started.
Are you sure? Wow. Okay, so it was fall of 2017.
Yeah.
That we started playing together just in David's basement. I think our first show was in February of 2018.
Awesome. And it's taken that long to finally arrive at this year, which you've released your debut album. Yeah, which we'll get to in a few minutes, but I want to talk about now because we're in this pandemic right now. How are you guys in the band coping with being in a quarantine and not being able to be together?
We're trying our best. A lot of the band activity is kind of halted. I mean, we're the kind of people that work better in a room together, I think. So as far as on a personal level, I think everyone's doing their best. It's tough. Everyone is having a hard time, not just us, not just the five of us. But a lot of us are lucky enough to still have work, still have, we can still do our hobbies and stuff like that. So we're all healthy. Yeah. We're thankful for that. So we're making the best of it, and doing our part to keep ourselves and everyone else healthy.
Has there been any new, insightful innovative new projects that any of you have jumped on at this time when you might not have thought of doing it in a normal day-to-day week?
I have several. I don't know if anybody else in the band really has, as far as a musical project. Josh built his own cabinet. Yeah. So if you see Josh's, you can find him through our Instagram. I forget what his actual Instagram name is, but if you go to the Breaking English on Instagram, I'm sure you'll find him. Or actually, I think we posted it. He built his own custom guitar cabinet, and it's like this really cool, asymmetrical, really like 50s retro futuristic looking cabinet. So that was his project. But I'm not sure about everybody else. I'll keep mine brief because I could talk for ages about my projects. But because I had so much more time in the day, I started two main projects. One is with another. Well, he's actually not. He plays in a band that operates out of Guelph, but I think he lives in Toronto. His name is Adam. He's from the band Teleportus. They're like a really heavy, sludgy, progressive band here. And we're doing a speed metal, black metal project called Hellbreather, where we just have a couple songs that we've demoed up, and we're going to get some guest vocals on them as well. And then I have another project that I just did pretty much all on my own, which I'm calling World Eaters, which is just non-stop bolt thrower worship. For anybody who knows what that means, you're going to be excited. For anybody who doesn't know what that means, you're going to hate it.
No, I've never heard of that term before, or that style.
Bolt Thrower is an old death metal band, and they have a very particular style, and the people who like Bolt Thrower just want more Bolt Thrower, but they broke up, so they can't provide any more of it. And so now nerds like me take up the mantle and try our best at imitating the mighty Bolt Thrower.
How about you, Matt? What have you been doing differently or out of the box during this pandemic?
Too wild. I've mostly just been practicing my drums, trying to stay sharp so that once we're able to get back together, I'm ready to go. I don't know. I know you've been playing. You've been working on your projects. I hope the others are working on staying sharp too. But once we're able to get back together, I want to hit the ground running and start playing same caliber we did before.
Let's be honest, we're going to get together the first, I'm going to call it 3 times for like solid 2-3 hour practice, and we're going to suck the entire time. And then we're going to start getting back where we were.
Yeah, the practice helps, definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I guess, I don't know if this happened to you guys. For me, for practicing my music, there was the first couple weeks where it was creative jolt of new content that I was really proud of discovering that. And then the next couple weeks, that was like 4 weeks, month, and then a couple months it was dry and it was really hard to get anything done. Just like from the anxiety of this prolonged time being away. And then I'm slowly trying and pushing to get playing because it is really soothing to just play anything and get like that internal motor running, and it just feels good.
For me, it was a little the opposite. I didn't want to play at all at the start of the shutdown. I just felt really low, bummed out about it. I didn't want to touch my drum. And then it was probably in the past month or so that I decided I should probably get back to it. I've got all this time. I should be more creative and productive. So that was my approach to it.
Okay, so going back to more general stuff about the band, the Breaking English, how did that band name come about?
This is you, David.
Yes, I gotta remember all the details here. So we, like any band in the entire world, had the hardest time naming our band. We had so many bad names, and I can't remember a lot of them, but I remember them. We had like a spreadsheet, and we went through a bunch of names, and they were all garbage. They were all so bad.
Same thing with naming the album.
Yeah, same thing with naming the album. We had another spreadsheet, and it was just mayhem. Anyway, we we were just hanging out after a band practice, and I think Natasha brought up that my fiance Katie, so she's very good at English. She's an English minor, but when she chooses to be, she can be very bad at English. She'll purposely like distort English, and I think Natasha said something along the lines of like, "Oh, Katie always texts in broken English." And we all had like a light bulb moment where we're like, "Broken English, that's the band name." And then we looked it up online, and there are 100 million other bands called Broken English. And there, at the time, there was a brand new Polish restaurant that opened up in the North End called Broken English in Guelph. We were like, okay, I guess we can't use that. And I think we just decided to change broken to breaking. I don't remember what spurred that.
We really liked Broken English when it came up, and then realized we couldn't use it, but we liked the idea of staying close to it. So we changed it from the Broken English. I think you've always been very adamant about keeping the in our name.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we were originally Broken English or the Broken English, but we liked the name enough. We wanted to keep it close, so we modified it a little bit that it was unique, and for us, you don't find anything else.
What are some of the other names that you thought up of?
Like for the band, I can't remember because that was so long ago. But for the album, I can try and remember a few.
I can pull up the spreadsheet, I'm sure. But with the band, the one I could remember was Ward, just named after the region of the city.
Yep.
And then some other names.
One was Cloud Eater, but that sounded too much like a progressive, like prog band.
Yeah.
So we didn't go with that. There was, although I didn't really consider it seriously, but we've entertained it a bit since, is Eddie Sinclair the Wallpaper.
Yeah, that was just a nonsense
name that Josh came up with. To have like a faux front person and a backing band, when actually that wasn't the case, and the name would be Eddie Sinclair and the Wallpaper, and it flows really well and it sounds great, but we didn't end up going with it. But we've toyed with the idea of using it for the name of a different project that also includes all five of us in some capacity. As confusing as it is.
Yeah, like a little side project between releases of the band.
Yeah.
And
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because I do see the logo on the t-shirt behind you guys.
Yeah.
Is there significance to the key and maybe the neon design?
You want to take this one?
You sounded like you had the answer ready, so go for it.
Okay. Well, I worked with Michael to design it. So that logo is designed by our very good and very talented friend, Michael Mohan. And when I say very talented, I mean he is like top tier musician, a really good singer, is currently getting his PhD in biological engineering to cure cancer.
Does visual design.
And does visual design, and creates his own videos and edits and yada yada. So he's like one of those superstar people. And we really wish he was in the band. But he's too busy. So anyway, he designed the logo for us. The key, I believe, has no significance.
That we like the idea of.
I think, we were just spitballing simple like logo ideas of what could be like easily reproduced. Yeah. And a key was one that we just all kind of liked and gravitated towards. But I don't think there was a reason for it. The neon, I remember, was when we were starting to try and build our, for lack of a better term, our brand, which is kind of fun, party, high energy, vibe kind of thing. So neon pink and neon blue were like the perfect colors to just like they pop, they contrast with each other. Like you can like this shirt is across the room and probably like this camera is not very good, so it's probably garbage quality, but you still picked it out.
Mm-hmm.
So we're also on radio. So for all you listeners there, sorry. But it's I guess it's simple enough to see and recognize that it works as a branding logo, which I'm always happy to talk business side of band. I know it's lame and not punk rock, and people don't like it, but I think it's fascinating.
And that's the effort you put in that really pays off. Yeah, no problem. I was talking generally, like in general, the more work a band puts into their networking and just the side of things, like that yields dividend. But also, David has put in a lot of that work for us, so I thank him for it.
Or speaking of the branding, and like you also mentioned punk, what is the musical style that you would describe the Burning English of having?
As far as musical style, somewhere in between rock and pop, with influences from just about everywhere. And I know that's not very descriptive, but if I had to pick a few places, it would be punk rock, heavy metal, a little bit of prog. But yeah, definitely some country and gospel. It varies song to song. I don't think you could peg any two of our songs as sounding particularly alike, not nearly as closely as, a band like AC/DC, where they definitely have a distinct style. I think every song we write has influences from a few different places, depending on which one of us started writing the song. But in general, it falls into kind of a pop and rock feel. We're a 5-piece band with guitar, bass, drums, and keyboards. So, and 3 vocalists. So definitely some rich harmonies there too.
I don't want to say we try and manufacture the songs, but like we make a point to try and toe the line between being creatively fulfilling, in some cases technically fulfilling, because we all like playing fast on our instruments sometimes, and also being not totally inaccessible, because we have a debatedly failed experiment, which is our last song that we wrote together, that we debuted live at Rhythm and Brews in Cambridge. It is a song called Bones Ablaze, and it is a 6.5-minute progressive rock, kind of heavy metal song. And it was when we took all the restraints off, when we just like let loose 100% without keeping an ear for accessibility, and it was the only song in our set where the entire audience was quiet the entire time we played it, and for the entire time after we played it.
Yeah, that was kind of we spent too much time wondering if we could, that we didn't worry whether we should.
Yeah.
So we took the restraints off and had fun with it, and learned from it. So we'll try anything.
Yeah. I think that's the bottom line. Not to keep rambling on about this, but I think all 5 of us have individually totally different music tastes. At least as far as like general, like what we normally would go to listen to. I know we have a lot of overlapping tastes, but we all have different basic tastes, and then we're all also really open-minded. So if Josh comes in with a really country-sounding guitar solo, or a really country-sounding set of lyrics, or even his voice has a bit of a southern twang to it.
Yeah, that's his influence. That's where he
brings it in, and the rest of us don't go, oh no, that's country, we can't have that. Like we're like, oh hell yeah, bring it in, let's do it. Let's take it and put it in the mosaic that we can build our music out of. So I hope that was descriptive enough.
No, that was a good overview of like the eclecticism of like you guys. I would love to hear that prog song of yours, especially because the Sentinel's Marvellous Kaleidoscope started up as a progressive rock radio show. It's expanded since then, but like at its core, like I love prog.
I can send you the demo version of, like, we did like a cell phone recording in the basement of the song. I think running through the entire song front to back once. I think we have it somewhere. If not, I can send you demos of certain sections of it that we've recorded on a cell phone, just for our own reference, just so you can hear it. But nobody else is allowed to.
I got the inside scoop.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll have to come out to our shows whenever
they have it
allowed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hear it then.
Yeah, I'll plan to do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that one of the things you described that was really, I think, special for you guys is the 3 voice fronted aspect. And it's throughout the songs in the album, it goes in between the singers and sometimes doubles or all of them sing at once. Do you think that's like the main or a great focus that's special for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's one of the 2 things that make us, I think, special in this scene. Not a lot of bands have even 2 vocalists, and we have 3 fantastically talented singers. They're all great in their own different way. They've all got a bit of a different style. So being able to bust out 3-part harmonies, whether it's in writing our own originals or whether it's in doing covers that everybody loves, like Africa, that kind of demand all those harmonies, I think that goes a long way for us. Yeah. And the other thing briefly I'll touch on is we've got girls in our band. It's not super common in the scene to have such a mixed group. I think people like to see that.
Yeah, we're a couple girls, couple guys, a relatively spread at like ethnicity base.
Yeah,
and I think it's neat. I think people enjoy seeing like
a diverse group of people.
Yeah, that seem to. I think people can, when they see us, especially like even down to the way we dress and stuff, because we're all like totally different people. If we all met outside the scope of the band, we probably wouldn't really become friends. But it's based on our past histories and the fact that we're looking for good musicians first, and then we all became friends through that, like family now because of that. But like when people see us just on stage or walking on the street or whatever, like you could tell that we're all totally different people, and we represent a wide range of like everything, pretty much.
Yeah, and I think that helps make us memorable.
Yeah.
If you go to a live show, you see a group with the 5 of us and 3 guys and 2 girls. You're probably more likely to remember it than the multitude of bands that are just all guys
or white guys in black t-shirts on stage.
Yeah. And nothing against that. We know a lot of great bands that are like that.
Yeah, a lot of my favorite bands are like that.
Yeah, but it makes us just a little bit more distinct.
Yeah.
Or speaking of live concerts, how does a Breaking English concert look like and sound like?
Like fun. I think that's the one word simple answer.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as it looks like, actually, we'll do sounds like. That's probably the easier one. Maybe not, actually. I don't know.
Or you did mention you guys do covers as well as originals. What kind of covers do you guys sing?
So we started as like a half and half covers and originals band.
Yeah.
Because we just didn't have enough originals to fill a set. But now I think we only do 1 per set, usually at the end of our set. And we pick almost anything that we like playing.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, War Pigs is consistent part of our set. It flows into one of our originals.
Yep.
So we always keep it in there. And then our covers usually pull from dad rock.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a lot of older fans who really appreciate when we bust out the Peter Gabriel or Elton John.
Yeah.
The upbeat stuff. We'll do Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting and Sledgehammer and Africa, as I mentioned. So the upbeat, funky stuff that is more energetic.
Yeah,
that's our covers, and the originals I think are generally pretty energetic too.
Yeah, I think we have Summertime Heat's our only really slow song. It's kind of a ballad, but it picks up as the song goes on. But in general, as far as like the sound of our show, the maybe the best word I can think of is big. Because it's like I think just the fact that we have a guitar and a keyboard, and not just like one guitar, bass drums, or two guitars that are like playing the same riff together or chord progression together, but that we have a guitar playing one thing, a keyboard playing like a counterpoint riff or melody, and then I usually try and bring in some other counterpoint or complement on bass playing. Then there's all the drumming on top and the three vocalists on top of that. That makes for like a big, full sound. And we also like to just play loud in general. Yeah. So it'll be big, it'll be bombastic. There'll be a lot of bad, cheesy banter in between songs.
I think the visuals kind of mash.
Yes.
So we will, in the past, we've brought our own glow sticks to hand out to the audience to wave around and bring some color to the show. We regularly now rent lights of multiple colors to shine on us as we play.
Yep.
David has a wireless bass, so he's out there running through the crowd whenever he feels it's appropriate, jumping up onto tables, that kind of stuff. We've got a wireless mic too, so one of our singers can get out there as well. It looks pretty vibrant and energetic.
Yeah, we try and make a point that if we can, we get as many people moving and happy and excited as possible. And if that means going out there on foot and doing it ourselves, we'll do it.
Yeah, from seeing some of the concert photos, David, I think you're the most eccentric of all the band members.
I take a lot of influence from old metal and hardcore. I'm a big metalhead, so I take a lot of influence from like Dillinger Escape Plan and The Chariot and bands like that, where it's if you're gonna pay $5 to see us, like you're gonna get your money's worth. Like, come on.
So now let's talk about your original works with the new album called Devandava. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah, Devandava.
Yeah,
something along there.
Yeah, there's not 100% consensus. I've always said Devandava. I know some people have said Devandava. Yeah, what would you like to know?
So let's because when I was first playing the songs on my radio show, I had to reach out to you, David, to actually find out that pronunciation. And I thought it was a made-up word, but apparently it is not. So why don't you explain what Devandava means?
So it is I believe, a Sanskrit word, which describes a type of compound word where the two parts that make up the compound word are of equal importance or value. So in some languages, there might be a term for mother-father instead of parent, or brother-sister instead of sibling. And so different compound words where it's like, if you use this word that says brother-sister, it's not to imply that the brother is more important than the sister, or the sister is more important than the brother. And I think Josh is the one who brought that word to us. And I don't know how he found it.
I don't know either. But he loved it.
Yeah, but he dropped it down, and at first I thought it was, like, me personally, I can't speak for the rest of the band, but at first I thought it was like really clunky sounding and like awkward, and I was like, I don't know if I like this. Then I looked at the meaning behind it, and I like how we can extrapolate the meaning to be this album, this project can only happen if everything else contributes. Like, every single part of this project is of equal importance and value to making the final product. So, like, the music would not be what it is without all five of us writing it and performing it. It would not sound the way it sounds without Tobin Stewart engineering it, Mike Penny mixing it, Robert Nation mastering it. It would not look the way it looks without Yvonne Weiss doing our album art. This project would not exist the way that we know it if any of these departments was not equally important to the other ones to create this product. Maybe a little cheesy, but I think it's really cool, and I believe in it too. I totally believe that if any of the cogs in this machine were missing, it would not be what it is.
I think it's pretty heartwarming, actually, for you to be thinking about all the people who've been helping and working on this first big creation of yours, and I think that radiates through that.
Well, I think it's something that we learned to appreciate as we started being a band. Like, we had a couple really good experiences of learning, like, even outside of recording. I remember our first show at District, where we had Ty do sound for us. And it was the first time, like, we had like, either we ran our own sound or our friends ran our sound, or just untrained, just people doing what they can at the show. And it worked, it sounded fine. But when we played that first District show, rest in peace, District, we had somebody who was trained and experienced in running sound, and it was like night and day. And it was like, whoa, like our eyes opened. We were like, we didn't realize this was a whole rabbit hole of, like, there is a massive skill gap here of professionals who can do this way better than non-professionals. That was the first time it kind of dawned on us. And then when we were recording our demo, which we did in 2018, we recorded it, mixed it, and fake mastered it ourselves here in this basement. Right in this room that we're in right now. And similar to the shows, we finished it and we were like, this is pretty good. This is all right. And it wasn't until we stepped into a studio for the first time, not even to record the album, but for a different thing, for a Kitchener studio called Canadian Daydream. They have a live music segment called the Daydream Sequences. And we listened to the raw, unmixed audio of our live session and went, oh my God, we have no idea what we're doing. We're like, again, there's an enormous skill gap where clearly these people are so talented and know exactly what they're doing that there's no reason for us not to employ their skill in making a good product. And the same thing for mixing and mastering and all that kind of stuff is, like, when we got to Royal City Studios to record our album, Tobin was there and he started setting everything up and explaining it to us, and we would hear the raw audio and we were like, this is incredible. This is unbelievable what you're doing compared to what we can just do in our basement. And then same thing with mixing. We got the first draft from Mike and we were like, oh my God, this is also so good. So yeah.
I'm sure it's continue that way. When it comes time to put out our next project, we'll look back on our current one and see how much we've improved.
Yeah. But just for Dvanva, it was like over that pretty much that year that we spent recording and mixing it and mastering it. And I guess the time before that, we really learned how important the technical staff for a project really is. It's not just the name on the front of the album cover. It's everybody who made what you hear.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a large process, especially for huge collection of songs. So So can you give us like a kind of process to how Devendava came together and maybe talk a bit about the songs that are on the album?
Yeah. I don't think we really started with it as a project in mind. We were playing in our band, and we had members that came forward with songs that they had written and wanted to have us all contribute to and write together and end up performing. And it got to the point where we had 8 or 10 originals, and we thought we should record an album. People have been asking us if we've got one, and we didn't really have anything recorded except for the demo we did in the basement here. So we wanted to create a professional sounding recording for all the stuff we'd written. So it started out as individual songs without really the idea of an album. And then we wanted to record them. As far as individual songs go, similar to the theme of the name of the album, we all came together in different ways for songwriting. So Josh has been an individual singer-songwriter for years before met us, and he had some ideas that he had written down and recorded, but he never had the full band to do them with. So he came to us with probably 3 songs, at least half written, and then all 5 of us worked on them together from that beginning point to arrange them. And he didn't have piano parts written for certain songs, so Juliana would contribute her part. I would throw in a beat I felt I liked, but we would all contribute in kind of different ways. If one of us thought there should be a guitar solo or a keyboard solo or more harmonies, then we all throw that together. So the general process is somebody comes to us with a starting point, with a riff, lyrics, and then we workshop it together, all 5 of us, and add our own influences and opinions and kind of democratically work it out until it becomes what we feel is a complete song that we're happy with.
Has there been any confrontations or spats between composition choices?
Yes, all the time.
I feel like spat is an overstatement, though.
I don't think so. I think that's pretty accurate sometimes.
Maybe. Like we all have when it comes to the creative process, we all have very strong opinions. Like we're very approachable, affable people when you like meet us in the street and like we're playing a show or whatever, like it's fine. When it comes to like the 5 of us in a sweaty basement trying to like riff it out for 5 hours straight, we are all very opinionated and very direct.
Yeah. And we know not to take anything personally, so which is great because we can get pretty vocal and the volume can increase pretty quickly. Yeah, among us.
That's kind of the thing, right? I feel like spat is an overstatement, is because we're never like, there's never a screaming match where we're like nobody's budging. It's like we all have like a social contract where if you can explain why a part doesn't fit or a different part is better or whatever change you want to make, doesn't matter. You can rationalize it and explain it and convince everybody that this is the way it should be, then we'll go with it. But in our band, there's no such thing as just saying, I don't like it. That's not acceptable. You have to say why you don't like it. What would you do instead? Something like that so that we can continue moving forward. So there's disagreements all the time. Yeah. Probably in every single song we've disagreed on something.
Yeah, but it's always in good fun, good spirit.
Yeah, it's never malicious. No one's ever angry by the end of it. I don't think we have any songs that any of us hate or don't like because there's a part that we wanted in there that isn't or whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think it will ever happen with us, at least.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there hasn't been any malicious actions between each other.
Because if there's any malicious actions, we booted from the band immediately. That's it. Unprofessional attitude, out of here.
Maybe talking about some of the songs closely. I like a lot of the songs on the album personally. I guess we can start off with Nightlife. It's a very catchy and good introduction into the album.
Yeah, that was one that Josh had. That was one of the first songs we wrote. Josh had the lyrics and the riff. And I think even that guitar tone and that whole sound, he had that all kind of right from the beginning. And then I threw that kind of disco beat on top of it, and it kind of came together pretty easily. It was one of the first songs we wrote, so it was a little simpler. It's more poppier.
But it's got a narrative. It's not just like nonsense lyrics.
Yeah, got a little bit of a story. I don't know if there's a story behind the lyrics, but I think there's a story in them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just kind of about, if I can remember the lyrics correctly, because I don't sing the song, so I don't actually know the lyrics 100%. But I think each verse is a different kind of like vignette of a bittersweet moment in a nightclub. Like one of them is, if I remember correctly, it's a man who takes off his wedding ring because he's unhappy with his marriage, and he can, let loose for a night and try and, maybe feel like his life can be a little better, but obviously it's not the way that he wants.
Stories of people trying to find something fulfilling in the night scene, in the nightlife.
Yeah.
And I guess in the end, not finding it, struggling with it, and coming to terms with it.
Yeah, just getting wrapped up in it and not getting fulfilled.
Another song which you guys also released as a music video is Self-Destructive Tendencies. And that was like a journey to see that music video, you guys going all over Guelph.
Yeah, it's our love letter to the city. Yeah, that was another one that Josh had the riff for, which so this song's my favorite, so I could gush about it forever. I think it's our best. It's my favorite guitar riff of ours. We got some great keyboard and guitar solos there. I think it's really catchy and a lot of fun, and probably what kind of epitomizes our sound the most. Josh came to us with that riff written and some lyrics written. And I think that's the only song I did some lyric work on. I took the lyrics from him and redid about half of them. I think originally it was a song about a guy who was kind of dejected romantically, and singing about a girl who done him wrong. But Josh had that awesome last line for the chorus, the "I've been tied down by my self-destructive tendencies." And I thought that's a great line. Let's try and rework the rest of the lyrics to be a little bit more focused inward on the singer's self. Not that it's any of us singing it, but on this, look inward at this character's self and have them sing more about how they are self-destructing and just keep tripping over their own feet. So that's how that one came to be, and it's my favorite. I don't know about the rest of the band, but I think it's a crowd favorite too.
Yeah, definitely a crowd favorite. I think it's probably up there for most of us.
Yeah,
it's not. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's probably second or third.
No, because it doesn't have any blast beat.
Yeah, exactly.
David, what would be your favorite track off the album?
Off the album, I would have to definitely pick Snow Day. I really like the fuzzed out 70s vibe. And before we kind of finished the song and we were just workshopping it, it was a lot more Led Zeppelin-y, which kind of drew me in, even though I'm not a huge Led Zeppelin guy, but it was a really cool, like, the riffs were a very like sleazy 70s rock thing. And then we slowly fuzzed it up, and that was actually one similar to Self-Destructive Tendencies, and that I got to rewrite about half the lyrics with Josh. Because he started with the line, "It's a snow day in a town that doesn't get very cold at all," and we decided that we can make the song about drug abuse. So I turned it into a narrative of, I think, a lawyer who abuses cocaine, and then
I figured it was about a cocaine dealer.
No, he says he's got an LLB,
Okay.
which means he's barred.
Okay.
He's a lawyer.
It's also got the line, he became his own best customer.
Yeah, 'cause he started going into his own stash. That's why he crashes his car.
Yeah, because he's selling the drugs. His own stuff.
Okay, all right. This is
All right.
you don't need narrative competency from me. I'm just the bass player. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of a story about one character and some drug abuse and everything goes wrong for him. But that song I think I love the most on the album. That's one that I think we took the most time recording, maybe, because the guitars are double tracked the entire way through. So the fuzzy guitar tone is just monstrous and heavy across the album. And it's also the album that we had 2 improvised vocal solos. So if you listen to that song in the second half, it changes into this like 6/8 part, and it's like the whoa drug trip part. And we finished recording it all, and it was like 11 o'clock at night on the second day of recording, and we only had 2 6-hour sessions to record the whole album, which is a whole story in itself. But anyway, we were recording vocals. It was like 11 o'clock on the second day at night, and we were like, all right, songs are mostly done. And then Juliana just said, put me in the live room. And we're like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, put me in there right now. We're like, okay. Set her up, put her up on the microphone, and played the second half of the song. And she just ripped this big, great gig in the sky vocal solo. And we were all floored. We were like, oh my God, that was incredible. And she comes in and she's exhausted. And she's like, plops down and is like, I'm done for the night. And we're like, yeah, of course. That was amazing. And then Natasha goes, put me in the live room. And we're like, okay. So she goes in there, same thing, set the mic, and then she records her own vocal solo. Again, a kind of a great gig in the sky thing. So if you listen to it, I think they're both panned really far left and right. So if you listen to it in that very end of the song, you can hear these 2 really like wailing, like almost a call and response, but both solos were totally improvised. So it turned out super, super cool, and it's now a live staple. We never had the vocal solos before we were recorded, but as soon as we tracked those solos, we were like, it's got to be in our live set now. We can't not do this. It's too good not to. So, yeah, that's probably my favorite. I also love the main riff that Josh came up with, the little noodly one that's in the beginning of the song, and it kind of comes back every once in a while.
Yeah. When you said Led Zeppelin specifically, you were thinking of the ocean for that one, I think.
I don't know Led Zeppelin well enough. But yeah, that's probably my favorite of the whole album. Yeah.
No, Ramble On. That was my mistake.
It would be amazing to see Juliana and Natasha do the improvised vocals from across like a venue and hear that. It would be so amazing.
Yeah, they're both very powerful singers, and they like do the stage presence too when they do it. Like it's always an intense moment in our set whenever they bring that during the song.
Yeah, the audience must go crazy for that.
Usually, I think they're just in awe. Like, not to toot our own horns that hard, but I usually think when they both start singing that wild, I think the audience usually just like, everyone just forgets about the other 3 schlubby dudes on stage and is like, wow, this is music. Yeah.
Some other tracks that I just want to quickly mention, and you can expand on any of them. I like the Puppet Master, Shadow of Your Love, which I guess is a reference to Sunshine of Your Love by Cream.
I don't think so.
No?
That was the first time I ever connected those 2 dots.
Yeah, I've never heard that before or thought it.
Yeah.
That was almost entirely written by Juliana, so I don't know. Maybe she was a reference. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, but that was all her. Kind of inspired by, at first cast, it was Adele inspired, but we kind of turned it into a bit more of a bluesy thing. But she really took the lead on that one. That song was her baby, so a lot of our decisions we wanted kind of vetoed. and it came out the way she wanted.
Which I'm totally happy.
Yeah, that's a bad thing. It's a great one. I only wish we had time to maybe track some more guitars and for that on the album. And then really quickly, Puppet Master is kind of just a straightforward, angry song about being PO'd at somebody else, and not wanting to be under their control anymore. Yeah. So when we do that one live, we always open with War Pigs by Black Sabbath and lead it directly into that one.
With Puppet Master, the kind of funny story with it, with recording it, was it's our simplest song. It is 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
At most,
It is 3 chords, and most of it is just a D power chord. For like, I'll commit to 75% of the song is you just slam on that 5th fret D power chord. That was the hardest song to track. We messed that up so many times, way more than any of our other songs. It took way more takes. It was just, I don't know what happened.
Verses similar to each other, whereas the rest of our songs, the second chorus is a bit bigger than the first, and the third one has built on that. Whereas this one, every chorus is same. It's a punk tune. It's dead simple. We gotta use our brains sometimes to remember where we are.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious. Like we kept track when we were recording of how many takes it took each song, so we could kind of keep track of time. And it was like most songs were like 2 takes. A couple songs were 1 take, maybe 3 takes here and there. And then Puppet Master was like 5, 6, 7. Like it could have taken us ages, but luckily the song was really short, so we didn't waste a lot of time.
One last song I want to mention, which is the final track, Summertime Heat. That's a very uplifting, and then as like the summertime is very, very warm.
Yeah, warm is a really good word for it. It's our only, so far to this point, our only ballad, our only real not our only love song, but it's got that slower feel to it. That one was another real early song. I think Josh came to us with that one already written, music and the lyrics done, and the rest of us didn't do much. We added our own little touches. I added my fills. David added some nice bass harmonics. That one was pretty straightforward, and then the girls came in and added their own harmonies, which I think are really beautiful. They figured those out perfectly. And again, that's one of my favorites. I think that's one that's fairly memorable among most of our fans, and we love playing it.
Yeah, we always have a good time playing it, and I think that might be our most popular song.
It's the one we get asked about the most, whether we're going to play it at our next show or people telling us they really like it. So we're happy we have anything that people tell us they love.
Yeah, it's honestly surreal.
Mm-hmm. I guess, or now to go on, it's June right now. This is probably going to be released later in the summer, but right now you have your album out, like on the Bandcamp. You're giving, I believe, 100% of your profits to Guelph Black Heritage Society and Guelph Pride. And I think that's really great that you have the ability to do that, to support community and great causes, especially right now.
Well, thank you. I mean, we figure, like, we're still a small band, so it's not like we're an enormous band with a large platform who can amplify voices particularly very loud. And I mean, we can amplify them, but not an enormous amount. So we figured the most effective use of our energy might be to raise funds for charities and for organizations that have those voices that need to be heard. And when we were looking around at where to donate, I think it only just made sense. We've always had very good ties to the community, and we've always been a very community-driven band. That it only made sense to donate to Guelph Pride and the Guelph Black Heritage Society. So what we decided is, 100% of our proceeds from all of our June sales on Bandcamp will be double matched by the band. So if you pay $1 for our album, and that $1 will go donated to the pot, so to speak. We will throw in $2, making it $3, and then whatever the total is at the end of the month, we're going to split it evenly between Guelph Pride and the Guelph Black Heritage Society. And none of the money is going to go to us. We explained earlier that we're all lucky enough that we can still be working and stuff. I know that's not the case with everybody, so we're not expecting everybody to throw money in. I know that's a tough time for everybody. But those who can, will help boost the funds as much as we can and donate them somewhere local, and hopefully we can help them, get their voices out, be heard, be understood.
Yeah, so the album is on Bandcamp. If you search for The Breaking English, I'm sure you'll find us. I don't know when this will air, but I think if it does end up going past the end of June and we can help reach some more people, I think we'd be happy extending it beyond June.
Yeah, I have no problems with that, honestly.
Yeah, so for anybody listening, if you want to contribute, we would be happy to continue to send some donations along. I think you can send us a little message if you do purchase anything, so feel free to let us know that you heard us on CFRU, and we'd be happy to push some money along.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to contribute to this kind of effort and it's past June, you're allowed to send a message on Bandcamp. Just send us a little message that says, "Hey, I heard you on the SMK, and I want to help contribute to Guelph Pride and Guelph Black Heritage Society," and we'll just pass the money on and ship it what we can. That's not a big deal.
Well, you're wonderful souls.
Thank you.
One little quirky kind of talk right now. I know, Matt, you have this thing on Instagram or social media where it's Matt Mondays. Do you want to quickly talk about that?
No, because it's not my thing. I will let David do this because it is all David. It's not me.
Oh, really?
It's against my protests, actually.
Okay, so we operate 100% as a democracy, as a band, except for social media. I control all of the social media and have free dictatorship reign over what gets posted and what does not. And I can't remember how it started. I legitimately don't remember how it started.
It started because there was another band you liked that did something for Sammy Sundays?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so there is a band from Louisiana called Goat Whore. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on radio, but you can bleep it out if I can't. That's their name. And they have a guitarist named Sammy, so they post a picture of him every Sunday, and they hashtag it Sammy Sundays. So while we were forming the band and trying to find our branding and starting to use Instagram and Facebook, you start to use social media in a business-y kind of way. I was trying to think of ways that we could create content that people liked, and content that people found funny, and content that came regularly, because that is, I think, super important for social media. So I took inspiration from this other band and decided to post a picture of Matt or a video of Matt every Monday and hashtag it Matt Mondays. And it is by far and away our most popular type of post on social media.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's just pictures and videos of Matt. He doesn't like them.
Yeah, I've gone on the record several times that I don't particularly like how image being taken or posted. However, I do have to recognize that people have grown to look forward to it.
I will rebuttal that there has been once or twice where I went to take a picture of you, and you asked me, "Are you taking a Matt Monday picture?" And I went, "Yep." And you went, "We try it some other way?" And you were like, you helped make that Matt Monday picture because you were like, "Let me help design the post."
Every once in a while.
So
But like half the time, it's pictures and videos of me that I didn't even know were being taken at the time. A lot of it's guerrilla photography.
It's DIY.
And it's from all of us. It's from all the band members.
Yep.
We'll send the pictures from David. It's stuff from my family.
Yep.
We'll send pictures of me as a child.
We get people in our audience while we're performing. We've had people take pictures and videos of Matt drumming while we're performing and send them to me afterwards. They'd be like, "This has to be Matt Monday." I'm like, "Okay, less work for me." And then I post it on Matt Monday. So it's become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's become a thing so much that I've missed a Monday. I think I've missed 2
in the past 2 years.
Yeah, in the past 2 years that we've been running this, I've missed 2 Mondays. The first one, I think I got away with it because I posted on Tuesday at 5 o'clock in the morning, and nobody noticed. Everyone thought it came from Monday night. And the second time I missed it, I just totally forgot. And I woke up the next morning and checked our Instagram, and there were messages in our DMs saying, "Where's the Matt Monday? How come there's a Matt Monday this Monday? Are you guys canceling Matt Mondays?" And I'm like, "No, I just forgot. I'm just one man. I'm sorry." So if I miss it, I think I post two Matt Mondays just to make up for it.
Yeah.
For the ravenous hordes that want to see pictures of Matt.
And we were lucky enough for Monday to fall on April Fool's Day this year.
Yes.
You were able to fool the world and tell them that Mondays were canceled.
Yeah, that got a lot. That might be one of our most engaged posts.
People were unhappy.
Is when I said, I just posted the text that said, "Sorry guys, moving forward, Matt Mondays are all canceled. I hope you understand, but we got to cancel it. Sorry." And that was it. No context. And it was on April Fool's Day. And my God, those comments were like, "What? You can't do that. What happened on Matt Mondays?" I'm like, "Okay, please." I'm just joking.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, it's a interesting time.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a great way to see some of the different sides of the band, even though it's only 1/5 of it.
Yeah.
So let us wrap up this interview now. The album is already out. Where can our listeners and viewers find the album and you guys on social media?
Basically everywhere that they normally listen to music, you can find us. We're on Spotify, we're on Google Play, we're on Apple Music. Like I said, our stuff is on Bandcamp, and it's under a pay what you want model, so you can download it for free if you'd like. Am I forgetting any streaming services in particular?
I don't know in particular, but I mean, when we submit our music to our distributor, we just tell them all music streaming services, please, and they do that. I know we're on Deezer and Napster.
Are we on Tidal?
I don't think we're on Tidal. We submitted to Tidal, but I don't think we're on.
So we're all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm sure wherever you listen to music, you can find us. And if you don't, let us know, and we'll see about doing that.
Yeah, we'll try to get there.
And then for social media, we're pretty much everywhere except for Twitter, which we don't really use. But we do have a Facebook at The Breaking English. Our Instagram is at The Breaking English. We have our YouTube channel, which is called The Breaking English. You can find some live videos and music videos up there. We're most active on Instagram and Facebook, though. And I don't think I'm forgetting anywhere else.
We're on Reddit.
Yeah, we're on Reddit. You can find us there.
Yeah, we're a little active on the Guelph and Guelph, Ontario music subreddits.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's really it.
Yeah, we don't have our own subreddit yet. But if anybody feels like doing that,
by all means.
Yeah, go ahead.
And one last question. I guess you guys can either do one separately or combine, make an answer together. What would your words of wisdom be for us?
Who is us? What would be your definition of who are we giving wisdom to?
Oh, the listeners and the good centuries.
The good centuries.
On it.
Okay. All right. I will give maybe this will be more directed to the listeners who are musicians, young musicians who are starting bands, who are tired of just being a band who plays in a garage and want to actually like, get involved in the scene, play local shows, learn who the people are in town, that kind of stuff. Be professional. I don't care what kind of music you play. I don't care if you are a pop band, a folk band, a jazz band, a punk rock band that writes songs about hating the establishment and sticking to the man. I do not care. Be professional. When you roll, if you get a show and the venue owner says load-in is at 7:00, you show up at 6:50. You do not show up at 7:15. You do not show up at 7:30. You do not send an email at 6:30 saying, when's loaded? No, you get the information first, and you show up early. You do the work. You say hi to everybody. You're nice. You're professional. You prove to everyone that you're somebody who they want to work with. Because no matter how cool it is to be punk rock and flip everybody to double bird, nobody's going to bring you back for a show if you're disrespectful, if you trash their venue, if you're anything like that. If you're a diva about it, it's never going to work. So be professional, be nice, be firm, and have fun.
I'll just give a more general one. Be kind to each other. Be good to each other. It's a rough time right now. Everyone's going through their own stuff. Just the world would be a better place if we all could show a bit more compassion and understanding for each other. There's my pie in the sky, lofty advice for everyone. Yeah, it's my hippie advice.
No, those were very nice words from you, good gentlemen. Thank you for talking with me this evening.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been a great time.